All right, Jeffrey, how much you got left in the tank, son?
I don't know, Coach. I think I got one more in me.
No, it doesn't sound like it. Ray, take the ball and go, buddy.
All right, here we are. Thanks again for watching the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show. We appreciate you tuning in here. Jeff's not very happy about that right there. But, hey, so we appreciate you being a part of today. Ray Halbert from Livestream STL Media. Wonderful day today here to talk about our brand new show here, DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show. We are going to put a little disclaimer on that. It is the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show, as it says right here, but we will be covering also DIAMONDCAST Softball because we do carry softball this spring, and we're hoping to get together with all of our coaches in the area here, JUCO, high school, JUCO softball as well, and things like that. So, we just wanted to maybe preface on what our plan is with this particular show. And I know Jeff's got a lot to talk about that as well. So I'll
be ready for the next outing.
There you go.
And there will be things I need to get off my chest.
Okay. All right. So I see a Woody's Rants segment coming in. And
thanks, Coach. I was one strikeout away from getting my bonus.
Well, cry me a river.
Folks, stay tuned. We've got plenty to talk about here coming up here in just a little bit here. You're watching the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show on Livestream STL.
Need cash for your cause? Double D's Fundraising delivers big profits in crowd-pleasing frozen pizzas and Otis Spunkmeyer cookie dough. Delicious cheese, loaded meat lovers, zesty buffalo chicken, all the flavors fans crave. We make it super easy to earn profits for your organization. Always freshly made for your order. Call or email Double D's today to start raising money the tasty way at 314-472-8600 or fr@ddpizzeria.com.
At Farmhouse Style, we have all the modern styles and high-quality furniture at wholesale prices. Prices we can't even advertise. So if you're modern or traditional, boho or art deco, save big by making the 20-minute drive down Highway 55 to check out Farmhouse Style.
Welcome back to the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show as we talk about some Hillsboro Hawk baseball, and we have none other than Matt Thompson from the Hillsboro Hawks. Coach, how you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you guys? Thanks for having me.
Excellent, excellent. Let's take a look at your year last season here, 17-12. You lost to Festus in the Class 5 District 1 tournament. You lost 9 players to graduation. Coach, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the last season.
Pretty typical for what we were kind of expecting. Since I've arrived at Hillsboro, we've won a lot of games. We've been fortunate, winning up around 60 in the last 3 years. It kind of all starts with what you just said, though. Festus knocks us out of the district. That's something that we're goal oriented and focused on right now, and trying to get over that hump. The one thing I've told the boys before is a lot of times our season is going to be gauged on that game alone. Yeah. Our Festus games. We could roll into that game 20-0 and get beat, and a lot of people are going to look at it as unsuccessful. We could roll into that game at 0-20 and beat them, and a lot of people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, they're good." So it's a rivalry that I've had to get used to, and it's not an easy one, that's for sure. But it is. It's definitely fun, and it adds to it. That's something that we've been focused on.
We talk about all the time, Matt, when we do broadcast. I don't care what level you're playing at. There is nothing like a crosstown conference rivalry, is there? For sure. I mean, the big thing is these kids all play together in the summer times. They play against each other in the summer times. We're an opposing school that's 10, 12 minutes apart, whatever it is. They've got girlfriends that switch. There's so much more aspect that goes into it than just baseball. Some kids work together at Buckeyes or other places like that in the county, and people don't think of those, but there's so many connections, especially when we're that close to each other.
And sometimes they're playing football against each other, and sometimes or basketball against each other. So they're friends, they're rivals, and yeah, I've seen guys in the past digging at each other on the basketball court which will carry over to the baseball field.
Man, I was watching your broadcast here 2 weeks ago, and you made the comment when Jackson Marks went up and took out Jackson Smith on a layup and said, pitcher takes down pitcher, two big baseball rivalries. These two will go at it, and I'm like, thanks, guys, just fueling the rivalry even more, But, yeah, it travels over. It carries over into everything, every aspect of life. And, I'm fortunate to be a part of that rivalry now, so we try to embrace it as much as possible.
And to that point, that even makes it more fun for the parents, grandparents, and the fans in the stand that don't have a skin in the game, but they love the school. It just intense. With basketball, we do a basketball game on Friday night around town. The place is packed, man.
Yeah.
You can't get somebody else in with some Wesson oil. I mean, it's just full.
It's true. Yeah.
But it's great for the community, and when they're charging admission, it puts a couple extra bucks in the coffers. What school can't use a couple extra bucks?
No doubt. You worry about sometimes all these summer programs and clubs and things that take over and have your athletes, and I've heard guys talk about, in 15 years you won't see high school sports. You're going to see people doing all these select things. You're going to see people doing all these pay-to-play stuff that's supposedly higher level, but when you see that go on still in our communities and our high schools, it fosters such a good environment for the kids, for the parents, for the players. I don't know that it's always fun, like that word you used, but it's always something that people can feel a part of. They graduate, they come back, all of those things. That's just a big part of life for a lot of people.
Yeah. Talk about you talk about the kids here. Let's talk about some of these players this season. Who do you anticipate stepping up to take over for leadership roles from last year, seniors, and also talk a little bit about your returning position players and who you have slated for your pitching rotation?
Yeah, so it starts with our pitching for sure. That is one thing that we do return. We didn't lose a whole lot of arms. So guys like Jackson Marks, who carried us a long ways last year and was a big-time arm, he returns. Hunter Gruey has been a staple in our infield for the past 2 years. Now he's going to be a third-year starter. He's also really good on the mound for us. We've got other guys that got time last year in Riley Wallace, Nick Groner, Cole Wynn, and then, of course, you have the two staples in our lineup of the Partney boys. Zach behind the plate. Now this is going to be his third year catching, and he's only a junior, and you've got Max at third base, maybe a little shortstop. So, the guy hit 9 home runs last year as a sophomore, stole 38 bases. So you hope for guys like that to come back and fill in immediately to be a staple, and then other guys to feed off that and try to piece in. One guy that's coming back is senior Brendan Pointer, which you guys probably don't know a lot about because he came up as a sophomore a couple years ago, and he pieced into our lineup when we were struggling in the outfield.
Right. Played
all year. Well, he broke a hand last year in basketball, and he spent over a year and a half out. So now he's back full go for us right now. So that helps us. It's going to help us in the leadoff slot. It's going to help us in the outfield, maybe a little bit in the infield too.
Excellent.
Have you had, or is it too soon to tell, but have you had any pleasant surprises coming out of some of the young pups that might be going to be able to play for you?
Yeah, for sure. To start with, Cash Linder, he was a triple roster guy last year, and what I mean by that is he played on our freshman team, he played on our sophomore team, or our JV team, and he played on our varsity team because we saw the talent level that he possessed, and we knew it was going to click at some point. And he wanted to play every single baseball game he could last year, so he needed to play some shortstop. He needed to play some outfield. He needed to hit at those lower two levels, which he performed out of the bullpen for us for the most part of the year. Had a really nice game against Perryville at our place. And he has come back, and he has worked his butt off in the offseason. Today I had him in class, and kid was squat maxing at 350 pounds. And as a sophomore that's not huge by any means, that just shows his dedication to it. We've had him on the radar gun, in the upper 80s, and he's really turned the corner, and he's going to be a surprise for a lot of people. Other than that, we have a freshman who's come up in Cody Reese, which nobody really knows that name yet. But he's kind of been a part of the program here for a little while. Our hitting facility that we use, his dad built when I got here, and he told me he was going to, so we had a place that we could work out. and it's been great for us. But his kid Cody is now a freshman, and we didn't really know if the tools would be there, this quick. But in our preseason, he's shined. In our live at bats, he's had days where he was 2 for 4, 3 for 4, 4 for 4, and he's been really impressive. He's put on 18 pounds since football season. He's a backup quarterback on the team, so we're trying to get his weight back on him. His strength numbers are way up, and he's going to piece in as a young piece that's going to surprise a lot of people.
I ask this question of a lot of coaches. I coached for 27 years and in summer programs, so I was always looking for high school guys to put in our summer program. But I talk to high school coaches all the time about this next question. Have you ever been walking through the hallways of school and heard about or stumbled upon a diamond in the rough that wasn't going to play baseball, but because of rumors you heard, you go up and say, hey, little Jimmy, we're looking for... Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah,
because I've had about 5 different coaches tell me that this happened with them, and the kid was stupendous.
Yeah, absolutely. I started my career at Bismarck. Shout out to the Indians. We had to pluck kids from our building. You got 136 kids in the high school. We need half of those boys just to go out for the ball team. So we found some kids that way. When I was in downtown Indianapolis, for sure, I had to find the athletes in the building. They were not a big baseball school. We had to pull them to us, and we found some kids who threw mid-80s for us, kind of that were just like hard workers, had played some summer ball and this and that. And so you got some raw talent you can work with. Now here at Hillsborough, it's been a little bit different. This is a town with parents who have invested in these kids and their baseball programs. So we don't have that a ton. Now we do look for speed in the building. We've found a couple kids that absolutely, hey, can you come run the bases? One surprise that we found in our building is a kid who moved in as a freshman from Vianney. He's a football player. His name's Landon Lambert. He's a strong kid, and he has had 2 torn ACLs, maybe something else torn in the knee. He played baseball as a freshman. He batted 4-hole on our freshman team, and he's never played since because he's been so hurt. Well, football season ended, that kind of thing, and he came to me a week later and he said, Coach, I think I want to try to play baseball again. And we're like, man, we don't know with the knee and all of this. How's it going to work out? And he has had a great off season for us. We were really worried about how it would turn out, but he's been a leader. He's hitting the ball well right now. So we got to find spots to get his bat in the lineup at some point.
Man. Another question, kind of off the beaten path, but I've asked coaches this when I was recruiting guys in high school. Have you ever had any females come out for the baseball teams that you've coached? And if so, have you ever kept one?
I have not. When I first got to Hillsborough, I was approached by a lady who her daughter had played softball for a long time. She was left-handed. She was interested in pitching. When you have softball at your school, it kind of changes those things. They kind of have to do that. So not necessarily, but we have had some girls involved with our program over the last 3 years that have been phenomenal managers, that love the game, that keep game changer, that keep the dugout light. So there's been girls that have been important parts of our season. We actually just lost 2 of them in shout out to Jill and Kimber, who've been with us for a long time, and now we've kind of got to replace those. And the guys in the dugout notice it too. They notice the things they do for them and that kind of stuff. So those are important parts too.
Absolutely, they are. And people just focusing on the on-field activities, they don't get that part, but it is so huge.
Yeah, for sure. There's just so much that goes on in the daily scenes. You watch these college basketball players at the NCAA level, and you see what you see on the court. You don't think about the classes that they're having to go to, the tutors they're having to sit with, all of those things a college athlete goes through. You have different things in high school. I like to practice on Sunday evenings. It's kind of known around Hillsborough that nobody else does, but I love a good Sunday evening practice. It's light. We scrimmage. We have fun with it. A lot of times we have a blue and white team, and the white team will show up in white tank tops, if you know what I mean. And they'll show up with music or dressed funny, so it keeps it light. But at the same time, on those days, a lot of times we have kids at work, that are working in a regular job or on a farm or this and that. So you have to navigate all those things. There's so much more that goes into people managing, than just coaching on the field.
And look what you get done on those Sunday nights.
Yeah.
It's not wasted time. People think, they're out there just screwing around. No, you're not.
No, we get a lot of live at bats. We set up the mound at about 35 feet, and I go full go as hard as I can throw at them. And it's kind of like a BP scrimmage. So we'll run 10 on 10. We'll play 4 outfielders because they'll tee off on me every once in a while. So it keeps it a little more of a defensive game. But we learn so much from those scrimmages and those nights, and the kids just feed off of it. You can tell, I talk a little trash, which I don't do a whole lot, but on those scrimmages, the boys know what I'm talking about. But I let my mouth run a little bit, and they do too. So we have some fun with it.
I feel your pain there, because when I would throw BP during the summer, I'm an old man. I can't be throwing from 60 feet, so I moved the L screen up to about 30 feet.
Yep.
And I'm still not throwing super hard, but these guys, come on, coach, give me something. So, I would spot fastball, just
For sure.
spot them,
Yeah.
make you pull it, get your hands inside, take it the other way. All of a sudden, they're grooving, and I throw them a changeup.
That's right.
And they swing from the heels and can't touch it.
Yeah, for sure.
We still want to keep talking?
Yeah.
So it makes it fun for these guys.
It does, and we had that conversation today, where I'm close enough to where if I spot something up or I can pick on their weaknesses, we can get them out. And I try to do that on the first 2 pitches with them, and then the third one we try to build confidence and, give them something they can hammer,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yep.
Coach, last question for you here. We'll let you go here. What does a successful Hillsboro Hawk team looks like this year?
Well, kind of back to that starting question, I would love to say a conference championship and 20 wins and blah, 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 all of this. Well, in the 3 years I've been here, we've won 2 conferences, and that's against a team that has went on to win a state championship, that has went to 2 quarterfinals and got beat, who has knocked us out in those districts over and over. So really the measuring stick has changed. We have a goal-oriented mindset of trying to win a district, and get past that. That first year when we were 20-4 or whatever that record was, 2 of those losses were to Festus. So if we get past them, the possibilities are endless. So we've got to focus on game by game how we get better to lead up to that point. We need to not peak at the end of the conference season like we have the last few years, where we've pulled out conference victories on those last weekends and hoped somebody lost so we could take home that conference championship. We've got to peak about 2 weeks later than that when we come to the district and just find a way to compete against those other schools.
Excellent. Well, Coach, thanks so much for being with us today. I know we'll catch you down here on some of the broadcasts, and good luck to you. We're looking forward to it.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's always fun.
Much love, brother.
Yeah,
Coach Matt Thompson from the Hillsboro Hawks. We'll be right back.
Men to do what they do. Devoted, skilled, solving problems before there are problems. Just like the team at Crystal Heating and Cooling. 60 years of teamwork and dedication. To Crystal, you're more than a customer. You're a friend. Top reviews, decades of experience keeping your home safe and comfortable through any weather. And Crystal Care Club with included maintenance and free financing options. For 60 years, Crystal puts their heart into your comfort. Crystal Heating and Cooling.
It's time to talk Festus Tigers baseball here today as we continue our previews here. We've got Coach Jeff Montgomery with us here. And, Jeff, we appreciate you being with us.
Yeah, sounds good. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So the Festus Tigers are 17-16-1 last season. They're Class 5 District 1 champs. They've won 5 consecutive district championships already. You were nipped by Vianney in the state tournament, lost 6 seniors to graduation, retained an overwhelming amount of starting position players and pitchers. Coach Montgomery's in his 30th season. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Holy moly, 30 seasons here and 18th as the head coach here. So, Coach, we appreciate you being here. And give us your thoughts on last season there, Coach.
Last season was a lot of fun. We played our best at the end. It's always been kind of the plan, to be playing your best at the end. We had a lot of things happen in that district championship game that was kind of went our way. We're very fortunate, made some plays defensively. Our pitching was great in district play with Jackson Smith and Cale Schomburg, and it was great experience. The quarterfinal was the first year with Class 5 experiencing that with the 2 out of 3. And we kind of ran a little bit of a challenge there. Vianney was pretty tough. So, it was a good year.
Monty, you guys seem to lead the pack every year. Everybody's chasing Festus. And I think that's very warranted. But in your case, do you feel or do you put any extra pressure on yourself to maintain that high level of success at Festus?
I think experience helps. Our coaching staff has that. That's a big recipe. I think that's helpful. We've been fortunate to have some really good kids, really good athletes that have bought in and they work really hard. And I feel thankful for that, that we've had a nice little window here. The last 4 or 5 years have been pretty solid, and the kids have really bought in. And it's a credit to the athletes and the families that put in a lot of work. And we've had some exceptional kids. But do I put more pressure on myself? I think I've gotten better at handling pressure, trying to find a way to diffuse it and not let it show. I think you try to prepare your kids as best you can, and hopefully things work out.
Along with your talent that you have and develop, it's almost like the Festus Tiger family expects success, which I think lends itself to the players raising their game up.
Yeah, I think so. Getting a taste of winning and knowing what it takes, having an experience, I think then transcends. I think it bleeds into the next kids. You look at what our cross country's done at Festus. You just pass that torch, and when a group of kids kind of show you the way, the group behind them emulates it and buys in, and then they expect to win. And I think a lot of it is just believing. If you believe you're going to win, you have a chance. You have a dream that you're going to win. Go to the Final Four, and then you got a chance. And I think those are the scary teams that really believe and really expect to win. We've had some very fortunate groups of kids that really believed in what we were doing, and they really, really expected to win. And I think that paid off.
Would you term this coming year a rebuilding or a reloading year?
Pitching, I think we're set pretty good. We're not rebuilding, I guess, there. We have some big shoes to fill, when you talk about losing Brady Nolan in the outfield, and we lost Mason Shermer, who was a pretty significant pitcher to our program. So we've got a lot of pitching back, but yeah, offensively, I think our juniors have grown up a lot that were sophomores last year at played. So, I guess we're kind of in between there as far as rebuilding and reloading.
Okay. Who are going to be your big arms on the mound?
Well, Jackson Smith was, really kind of stepped up last year and kind of became a very confident workhorse on the mound. He really works with a great pace, and he pitched very confident all year. And again, he threw this weekend, looked really good. And Cale Schomburg is another guy who's really competitive, also knows how to win, expects to win. Those two guys really lead the way, being lefties. And Jackson Imes is a junior lefty. He's he's definitely right there. He's got a lot of potential, and he's going to get some opportunities. So I think those 3 lefties are going to be pretty critical to our success.
3 lefties. People would kill for 1, but you got 3. That's top shelf, buddy.
Yeah, we're pretty fortunate to have that, obviously. Again, I've had that, said to me many times, and we've even got some additional guys there, that are coming up, some additional lefties. Nate Womack, 6'8", he's another lefty. We've got some other guys too. So, again, yeah, I'm fortunate about that.
With your juniors that are coming, mixing in with everybody else, how should your offense be?
Let's hope it's better. We had a lot of strikeouts last year at one point. We didn't score as many runs as we probably should have. We've got to do better at that job of that, executing. So we're trying to work on different facets of our game. The Braden Goods, the Cooper Shilleys, the Cole Moleskis, the Henry Browns, the Jackson Imes. Those guys all got to play last year as sophomores, and they did really well at the end. And I think that hopefully will carry over. They've gotten a lot stronger in the weight room. They're all hitting balls this year that look a lot different off the bat than last year. So I think that's a plus.
There's nothing like youthful experience, is there?
There's not, and again, that was a buy-in last year. That was, we really had to have those guys. And a couple of them were probably a year early, for what we needed, they as far as being ready. But they, you're right. The experience just is unprecedented, to get that opportunity. I think what pays dividends later on, like you said, when you play those young guys. So it's got to help this year, that's for sure.
My last question for you. In your 30th year of coaching, what makes Jeff Montgomery tick?
I love the game. I love our program. I guess that makes me tick a lot. As far as that, I would say I'm pretty competitive. Especially what's happened the last few years has kind of showed me, kind of gave me a new outlook on some things. What it takes. And again, every year is different, and I've grown a lot as a coach, that's for sure. And I've got a good supportive staff. Barry Stafford, our varsity assistant, does a great job. So I think the two of us working together has also been, I think, a very rewarding time. And we've got Kevin Lucas has been helpful, and Joe Felker, and Austin Bergert and Matt Gurno. Those guys have put in a lot of time, and we lost those two guys. They went to administration. But, I guess just competitive, putting on the uniform and wanting to win for your school, I think that makes me tick pretty good.
Coach, tell us how much has getting the new facility on the school grounds here contributed to the team's success?
The field, you mean? Yeah. I mean, that field just changed everything. It really, I've talked about it a number of times. You have a field like that, people want to come and play on it. It helps with your your scheduling, recruiting people for the schedule. It helps with so many things, just preparation. You have more time to work on stuff,
sure.
Because you don't have to take care of a field, and to be an all-weather surface, to get on it in the off season when you're in those windows that you can do work.
Yeah,
it just gives you such an advantage, the turf field does, and so that's benefited us a lot, that's for sure.
Excellent. Well, Coach, we appreciate you being in here today, and good luck to you again this season. I'm sure we're looking for a deep run again, and good luck to you. Well, I know we'll see you down the road here.
Thanks for having me in, guys. I appreciate it.
Coach Jeff Montgomery from the Festus Tigers.
Nice job, Raymond. I knew you could do it, buddy. Took us home, took care of it all. Nice job, young man.
Yes, sir. The arm feels good still here, and we appreciate everybody watching tonight's episode of the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show. Don't forget to check out all of our great content on our broadcasts here on livestream.stl.tv and our Roku app there. Download the Roku app. Just search Livestream STL on Roku, and you can watch everything we have out there for free. For all of us here at the DIAMONDCAST Baseball Show, so long. We'll see you next time.
Keep that chicken wing loosened up. We may need you next week.
Thanks for watching today's broadcast. Any unauthorized use of this broadcast without the express written consent of Livestream STL is strictly prohibited.